Okay, we're in the garage and, on the gas and gas meter. I was talking about where is the electric bonding, and there's some electric bonding right there. So there's to that. This is a tankless water heater. A lot of people identify it as spontaneous. It's really on demand because it doesn't store a lot of water, hot water, in the system. Sometimes it takes a little while for the water to get to you. So let's go up here for a little bit. I don't know where to start from the top to the bottom. One, we do not have bollards to protect the water heater from vehicular damage, but we do have some steps here in front of it, and because of its location next to the wall, I'm just not seeing it. Code inspector didn't see it either. So, by the way, our gas is coming in. We got a sediment trap right here. But if we look up underneath here, what we see is, see that red tape? It's not been molested. Okay, gas pressure coming into a residential house is pretty low, and Ream knows that. And these things are preset, so these you can just bolt them up, and they will work. Okay, that's a good thing. But it's a very expensive piece of equipment. It is a Porsche. It's not a Ford. And so, you paid extra for this water heater. Why don't you get the performance that you're supposed to get out of it? That's what I think. It takes a manometer. Most plumbers don't even have a manometer. If they do, it's got an inch of dust on it. It's underneath the seat of the truck. They just bolt it up and they go. But I know that tape is still there and hasn't been moved, and I know that didn't happen. Now, don't listen to me. Check the manufacturer's installation instructions, because some of the older Ream instructions that I've been seeing, and this is a newer house, some of the older Ream instructions I've been seeing, they talk all about dialing that in. And the last couple times I have surfed through installation manual, they were silent on it. They did not address it. So that might be best practices now. But it's going to make my report. Double check my work. And don't blow off my work. Don't ignore my work. Check my work. If it hasn't been checked, I'm right. If it's been checked and I'm wrong, at least my client's been taken care of. This is the thermostat right here. The temperature shouldn't be higher than 120. Okay? Now, we do not have a safety pan. And they might say, well, you don't need a safety pan. Well, you might not need a safety pan, but it's the quickest way to get this thing installed properly. Okay? This is your pressure relief valve right here. All right? It's supposed to have an air gap in the same room as the water heater. And how are you going to do that without getting water all over the floor? It's going to go into a pan. Pans do not cost very much. Okay? This is a high efficiency. Remember, this is your Porsche. This is your Lamborghini. All right? So you come over here. You see this knob right here? See that right there? It's installed inside. If it was outside in the wall, it'd be different. It's installed inside. The manufacturer, Ream, thinks that you should have a condensate drip line with a loop and an air gap. Well, if you got condensate draining out of here, you don't want it going on your floor. You want it going into the pan. So again, we can argue all over, about a pan or not, but to install these things correctly, the simplest, easiest, most economical method to do that would be to have a pan. Well, what do you mean condensate? What do you mean condensate? It's not going to burn me. It's still going to exhaust. It's noxious fumes. We're still going to get them out of the garage, away from the living space. Yes. We are going to vent it, but it's not going to be hot because we extrapolated all the heat that we paid for. We paid for that heat. We created it, and we drew it out, and we put the heat into the water instead of the exhaust, making it efficient. Now, when you do that, a byproduct of that, when you do that, is condensate. And condensate is acidic. So the condensate that forms in here, instead of draining away, the condensate that forms in here drains back into the heat exchanger, causing the heat exchanger to rot and corrode out. It destroys your heat exchanger. These things get replaced in 7 years. They're very expensive. I'm not saying it's going to fail in 7 years, but if you want it to go 14 years or what, if you want to get your money's worth, you already got a 30-year loan on it and paying interest on it every month. You know, you already got that going, so you're already going to, you know, so don't you want your equipment to last as long as possible and keep it out of the landfills and get as much joy and not have to experience the failures so often? If it's installed properly, yes. So instead of the acid going back down through here, the acid needs to come out of here. It needs to go through an air loop. Read the instructions. And I'm pretty confident about that one. Okay? This is an ongoing discussion. This is not. That is what it is. So we come over here. Also, what is all that? All kinds of noise. Come over here. Our thimble. If you read the instructions, this thimble is supposed to be sealed to the wall with some fire caulk. Okay, this is supposed to be sealed. This is supposed to be sealed. That's not sealed. That's not sealed. That's in the instructions. What supersedes code? The manufacturer's installation instructions. In fact, code refers back to the listed manufacturer's instructions. So the listed manufacturer's instructions actually are code. Okay? So it is what it is. Now, 7 years, 14 years. It's not just the acid. You're supposed to clean this screen once a year. You can go on YouTube. I got some links inside of your report, baked inside of your report. I got some links in there. Shows you how to do it. The worst thing can happen is you get wet. Maybe you don't want to do it. Get a plumber to do it. It's not very expensive, but that screen needs to be cleaned once a year. Okay, and that's the difference between a 7-year water heater and a 15-year water heater. I don't know why this cap is off, but you know, I'll just put it back on. Save us a little writing there. So what did we learn? We don't have a safety pan. We do not have a drip tube, condensate drip line. Our gas was not dialed in. We do not have fire caulk on our thimble. And I don't see a care and use manual. I do not see a care and use manual.